right, let's go ahead and get going. We're going to talk about some motivation. We're going to talk about some meditation. We're going to talk about some inspiration. If it's not one of the three, I don't want it. We get into that place where we're utilizing our focus, our knowledge, our discipline. And so, how are the challenges that you're facing off against? What is it that you're facing off against today? Where is it that you're using your mentality? Where is it that you're using your ability? And a lot of us have a lot of different challenges. We have things that we go through on a daily basis, and as we're going through challenges, are we recognizing that our ability comes from within? It comes within our mentality, and how are you using yours? How are you using your mentality? How do you sit down on a daily? Do you give yourself a little bit of time, a little place of focus, and just a little bit inside of who you are? And so, as we focus to overcome our challenges, as we put ourselves in that kind of a place where we have that ability, and we start to notice that what it takes comes from within. Okay, and there's a lot of things that could stop you, and that would have stopped you if you didn't continue with your mentality. And it's inside of who we are that that place truly is. And you know what are some of the skills that you can use? What are some of the things that when you're going through them, you start to sit back and look at it and you go, hey, is this possible? Can I overcome these challenges? And that's where this motivation, meditation, inspiration comes from. It comes from the mentality. It comes from the ability inside of ourselves to sit down on a daily basis and to truly get down with our grind, to truly get down with ourselves, and to put ourselves in a place where we have what it takes, where the challenges that we faced off against no longer have that ability to hold you back. And I'm sitting here in front of you guys today. I'm telling you it's worth it. I'm telling you that if you're willing to sit inside of you, if you're willing to continue to grind when you don't know if it's possible, if you seek out that person inside of who you are, where your mentality starts to open up, where your ability starts to become, and it comes from within. It comes from a place where we seek out ourselves, where we seek out our abilities, where what we're facing off against comes from within. And all of us face challenges on a daily. We face things that we don't know if it's possible. We face things that sometimes you have to seek out and allow the things that aren't positive to move out of the way. And I say this on a daily basis. I say this in a way in which you would understand that when you focus into positivity, that things are going to come your way. And it's not to avoid the things that come your way, but it's to face off against them. And it's to recognize that we can do it, that you can truly achieve your dreams, that the things that you want to do, the places that you want to go, the challenges that you want to go through, you can overcome. But you got to put yourself in that kind of a place where you give yourself that ability, where you give yourself that kind of mentality, and where you have what it takes. And so, are we focusing to that point? Is the question that we got to be asking ourselves. Are you focused? Are you using the skills that you have, the gifts that you have, the talents that you have within who you are? And it truly comes from that place that we start to look at how we can overcome the things that we face off against. Yeah. And I realized that you got to become your own best friend. You got to care about yourself. You got to not be selfish to other people, but still be caring to you. And a lot of people don't get that. They don't spend that time manifesting that. They don't get to that point inside of who they are where they're willing to do it. They're willing to become it. They're willing to manifest it. And so, are you able to do that? Are you able to truly sit down with you? And it takes a lot of focus. It takes a lot of mentality. It takes a place inside of who you are to where you start to believe in yourself, and you start to believe in your abilities. And it comes from that place that self growth builds. Yeah, it comes from that place the ability inside of who we are becomes. And you see, a lot of people don't want that. They don't want to achieve that. They don't truly want to care about themselves to that level. And because of that, it makes it difficult. It makes it difficult for other people to care. Because when we start to care for ourselves, when we truly start to care about who we are on the inside, we're going to want people that are around us that are going to have the same like-minded, that are going to want to grow, that are going to want to stand up for themselves, that are going to truly want to be who they are on the inside. And it comes in a way in which you wouldn't even imagine it. Sometimes it hits you in the face, asking you, like, are you a positive person? Is your journey worth it? Is your path worth it? And sometimes you just need just a little bit of encouragement. You need just a little bit of someone on your side telling you it's worth it, telling you that you can achieve it, that you can overcome your challenges. And it's inside of who we are that place lays. It's inside of who we are that ability comes from. And we each have that inside of ourselves. We each have that place where we can focus, but you got to find you got to find a way to lift yourself up and to continue to grind, because sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes the things that you're facing off against, they're trying to stop you, they're trying to limit you, they're trying to hold you back from your dreams, your goals. And how do you fight to be able to keep your dreams and your goals? How do you fight to keep yourself above water? How do you get to that place where you start to focus, and how do you build a community? And I've asked that question every day: is what I'm doing today, is it motivation? Is it meditation? Is it inspiration? Because if it's not one of the three, I don't want it. So here I am in front of you guys again today, facing off against other challenges. Each of us have challenges. We have things that we have to overcome. We have things that we're working on. We have things that aren't always going to be perfect, that are going to take a little bit more time than you expect, than you can imagine. And we got to have patience with ourselves too. And how do you build that? How do you get to that point where you start to see that? And how do you start to give yourself that kind of permission? Like when other people don't really share that same kind of mentality, it's inside of who we are that we got to seek that person, just a little bit of yourself, just a little bit of you. And and I saw one of those cases yesterday where a really close person to me was facing off against loving themselves and putting themselves in a place where nobody, no matter who it was going to be able to take them down or to drag them down. And it's inside of that place that we seek out our positive mentality. It's inside of that place that we seek out our ability. It's inside of that place that we start to utilize our gifts, our talents, our mentalities. And each of us have one. And so are you enabling yours is a question that I'm asking today. Are you enabling your mentality? Are you taking it to a place where you're not allowing those things to affect you? You're not allowing those things to hold you back, and you're truly focusing beyond your challenges. You're focusing to the place where you go beyond the things that are going on within you, and that you're focusing to the place where you believe in yourself, and you believe in your being, and you believe in your purpose, that your journey is worth it. And has anybody ever told you that? Has anybody ever told you that you have a journey and that it's worth it? Sometimes we got to hear that. Sometimes somebody's got to just say it out loud. They got to say, hey, you can do this. You can achieve this. You're greater than these challenges. You're greater than these things that are going on around you, that you have what it takes, that you are a blessing, that you are a son or a daughter of the Most High God, that we're going to lift you up, that we're going to encourage you, that we're going to tell you that it's worth it. Because it is. Your life is worth it. Your path is worth it. Your journey is worth your attention. It's worth your ability. It's worth your vibration. After all, aren't we called humans? But the other part that people forget is being present within yourself, that human being. Okay, so when you start to become present within your challenges, when you start to become present within your mentality, within your purpose, within your journey. And so, see, a lot of people, they want to learn how to do breath work. They want to sit down. They want to do it when it's easy, not when it's difficult. They They say, oh, it's not easy to sit down. What about when other people are telling you, hey, come on, we got to go do something else, and you're still grinding? What about when you're achieving your dreams, your goals, your manifestation, and other people aren't seeing that? See, this is what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about me. I'm talking about everybody that vibrates across the face of the planet. What is it that drives you? What is it that when you sit down and you focus, what is it that brings you, that place where you go beyond the challenges? How do we start to focus to that point? How do we truly start to believe in ourselves? How do we start to believe in our abilities? And I'm sitting down here today going through challenges. I'm sitting down here today grinding and telling you that, it doesn't happen on a singular day. It doesn't happen when you want it to. It happens in its own time. It happens when you are about to just give up, okay? And that is when you find focus. That's when focus hits you in the face. It's when it says to you, can you do this? Can you sit down? Can you grind? And it's up to you to say, yes, I can. It's up to you to say, I can do this, that I am a tool in this universe, that I can utilize my gifts, my talents, my abilities, that what I have going on inside. And I see daily growth. I see the ability inside. I wake up on a daily. I see my Periscope. I see my YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I see these people commenting. I see them saying, hey, look, you're doing a great job. Just keep going. And I hear that vibration, and I see those people that are becoming uplifted, and I see those people across the globe who hear this message, and they might just need it. They might just need to hear it's possible for you to do things if you could put your mind to it. The challenges that you go through, the things that you face off against, the people that are with you, the manifestation that you have within, that comes from your focus, my friends. It comes from a person who is willing to sit down, who's willing to vibrate at a higher vibration, who's willing to continue to grind when other people think it's impossible. Are you doing that today? Because you have only one journey, yours. Are you on it? Are you on your journey? Are you going down your path? Are you giving yourself the place and giving yourself the time to do it, to become it, to manifest it? And each of us can do that. We can achieve that place inside. We can get down with that part of our mentality. And it might sound like a hurrah, or a person that's listening to this message today might think, man, how do you do it? How do you get on there every single day, Marcel? How do you get on there, and how do you continue? And it's no different than any other profession. Okay, every single profession takes grind. Every single profession takes the ability to close out things. Every profession says, I have to take that time to put myself aside and to put myself in the place where I have what it takes, where I have the mentality within who I am, where I believe in myself, where I believe in my abilities. Are you doing that today? That's the question that I have. That's the place where this focus comes from. It comes from within. It comes from a vibration within yourselves. And so, when you choose to be positive, when you choose to find the positivity in the situation, when you choose to vibrate from within who you are, when you start to believe in you hearing what I'm saying? You can do that. You can believe in yourselves. You can believe in your abilities. You can believe that you have what it takes, and that when you're facing off against things, that you can overcome them. But you got to believe in you. You got to believe that you have what it takes to overcome those parts of who you are. And it is inside of ourselves that it takes that. It's inside of ourselves that it requires that. And it's inside of ourselves that the mentality starts to open up. And it takes one's being, it takes one's focus, it takes one's journey, it takes one's ability to start to believe in themselves, and to not allow negativity to affect them, not allow the things that other people try to say or do to hold them back. And it comes from within who you are, and comes from within your journey. It comes from within your path, and you're worth it. You hearing what I'm saying? When you're sitting down there and you're not sure if other people will come back, if you're sitting down there and you're shaking inside of who you are, it's inside of that place that you build. It's inside of that place that you become, and it's inside of that place that you manifest. And it takes that part of who you are. It takes that part of your being. It takes that part of your vibration to allow yourself to continue to move forward. It's not easy, okay? This life was not meant to be easy, okay? It was never meant to be easy. It was meant to be hard, and it was meant to be worth it. And so, because it's hard, it becomes worth it, because you have to put a value on your ability. We have to put a value on your mentality. You have to put a value. But what is that value that you're putting on it? You hearing what I'm saying? What is it that you're kicking out of your mind? Are you kicking positive thoughts? Are you putting yourself in a place where you're utilizing what you have inside? Are you even spending just a little bit of time on yourself? Are you spending a little bit of time on your purpose? Are you spending a little bit of time on your journey? And I'm sitting here today doing that. I'm sitting here in front of you guys saying, hey, let's do this. Let's become this. Let's get back up. Come on. You can do this. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get up. Come on. You can focus. You can get yourself in that place. You can hear this rep. You can hear this connection. You can hear this vibration. And you could say to yourself, let's do it. Come on. Let's get back up. We can get back up. We can get into that place. We can build a community. We can get to the place where we are focused into a vibration, where we have what it takes. Come on, you got it inside of you. And so this journey is long. This journey has a great path. And whatever stage you are along on your journey, it's worth it. Whatever stage you are along on your path is worth it. But you got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in your abilities. You got to believe that you have what it takes inside of you. And so, when we're sitting down by ourselves, when we're speaking from our subconscious, when we're putting ourselves in a place where we're not sure if we can do it, you got to say to that subconscious, let's do it. You got to say to that mentality, let's get up. You got to say to that mentality that you have what it takes. I'm almost at 3,000 followers on my Facebook group here. My every single day I see the Anchor, the podcast increasing. I see the YouTube, the Facebook, the Periscope, the Twitter. Let's get that connection going. Okay? I believe it's available. I believe that these blessings come, that when you put the creator of the universe first, when you put yourself in a place where you become a part of this journey, when you become a part of this path, when you have what it takes inside of you to continue, when you have what it takes inside of you to move forward, when you have what it takes inside of you to overcome, it comes from within. It comes from within your vibration. It comes from within your mentality. And it is there. It's inside of who you are. It's inside of your being. And it sometimes kicks you in the butt asking you the question. It says, is it possible? Is it possible that you could focus? Is it possible that you could sit down, that you could block out the things that would be holding you back? And one of my favorite things about going to a position or going to a place where we have to open our mind is that we have to shut out other things so it's possible for us to do that. Are you doing that today? A lot of people have to go to a position. I wake up every day and I put out these videos. I wake up every single day, and I decided that, at a certain point I want to get it going. And I have a Prius, and I've been doing, rideshare for the last 5 years, and I got the vehicle. I've got the vehicle fixed, and it still needs more fixes. And so I'm sitting here and I'm saying, okay, I could do this. I can do this. I can get back out there. I can focus. I could get myself on track. But I forgot the one thing. The one thing we got to do is stay positive. We got to believe that there's a way. We got to believe that there's an ability. We got to believe that there's a mentality, that it's worth something, that always when we're facing off against challenges, always when you have things that you have to overcome, when you're facing off against things that you don't know if you can do or you can achieve, it's inside of your mind, okay? It's inside of your mind that you can. It's inside of your mind that you can believe in you. It's inside of your mind that you can overcome and that you can manifest and that you can become who you are on the inside. And it takes that place, it takes that shape, it takes that form, and it takes that ability, and it's inside of who we are that it happens. It's inside of who we are that it overcomes. It's inside of who we are that we can manifest and that we can vibrate. And I'm doing that today. I'm putting myself in that place where I have what it takes to believe in oneself. Are you doing that for you? Let me ask you the same questions, okay? If your day is not going perfect, what is it that you're doing to bring it closer towards that type of day where it's positive? If you're not having that kind of a day where everything is working in your favor, what are you doing today? What are you focused into? Are you putting the skills, the talents that you have in front of yourself in a place where you have what it takes, where you have what happens to you is that you could believe in you, that you could believe in your ability, that you could believe in your mentality. See, a lot of people, they hold themselves back from that. They hold themselves back from their true focus, from their true ability to use what the gifts that they have. And see, that's why people say, I just don't know if I can be motivated. It's because they say to themselves, I don't know if it's possible that I could believe in me. Okay? You got to become your best friend. You got to sit down inside of yourself and tell yourself it's possible. You got to tell yourself it's going to work. It's going to be worth it. That I have what it takes. That I can achieve my dreams. That I can achieve my goals. That I can manifest from within who I am. And that I can believe in myself. And that I can believe in my purpose. And that I can believe in my journey. And are you doing that today? Are you truly sitting down at that level where you have what it takes within you? Because a lot of people are held back by that, my friends. They're held back by what's going on inside of them. They're held back from not focusing into positivity. They don't even know how to get back up. But you know what? Even when you're face down, even when everything is facing off against you, if you can yet but just believe in yourself, you will find a way. If you can yet but just believe in your ability, if you can believe that you are a light inside, that you shine, that your light shines, and so it can radiate outwards. It will come. Those people will come. Those things that you want to achieve will come. Those dreams will come. But you got to be willing to continue when it's not easy. You got to be willing to focus towards the things that you want to achieve, that you want to overcome, that you want to manifest. And a long time ago, I heard a speech by a person on YouTube, and it said, you can't wait for a day where you don't need a car. You got to not need a car. What drives you? Hearing what I'm saying? I'm sitting here in front of this, and for the last 5 years, I've been used to driving people around and driving food around and doing these things, and I'm going to continue doing that. But what truly drives me is getting on here. It's getting on to motivation, meditation, inspiration, and getting out there and getting connected. It's uplifting people. It's getting into that meditation. It's getting into that ability within. It's getting into that focus. And it's getting into that knowledge, okay, that it's worth it. And it is worth it. You are all worth it. Your challenges are worth it. Your abilities are worth it. Your mentalities are worth it. When you sit down and you focus, when you sit down and you study and you use the skills that you have inside, you become worth it to you. And each of us can do that. Each of us can start to see that for ourselves. We can start to see that within ourselves. We can start to see that for ourselves. But you got to be willing to get up. You got to be willing to continue to push, to continue to grind, to continue to believe in yourself and to believe in your abilities. And I see those things happening. I see those things happening inside of who we are, inside of our beings, inside of our purpose. In we do that on a daily because we seek out something great inside of ourselves, and it's not on a singular day. It's when we continue to believe in ourselves. It's when we continue to believe in our abilities and our mentalities. And so how do we start to do that? How do we start to put ourselves in a place where we have what it takes, where what we're going through, we have the ability to overcome. And how do we achieve? How do we how do we how do we use those things to fuel us? Okay? How do we use those challenges to bring us closer towards a positive page? How do we use those challenges to bring us closer to positivity? It's not easy, my friends, okay? And I'm telling you, when you allow the things to move out of the way that aren't meant for you, then you open yourself up for the things that are meant for you to fill that space. When you allow the things that aren't able to bring you closer to you to move out of the way, then you're bringing yourself closer to yourself, to your vibration. And each of us have one. Each of us have a place within who we are, within our journey. We have a place where the vibration has a purpose, where, we are a human. Okay, we also have a being within ourselves. We have a part of who we are that it requires a place of mentality. It requires a place of ability. And I'm sitting here with you guys today, and I'm telling you it's worth it. I'm telling you that your purpose is to be centered inside of yourself. It's to focus to that point where you can see the heat around you and it has no effect over you. And so I remember being in that kind of a place in a sauna where I could see the heat around me, but the thing that was going on within is greater than what's going on the outside. See, that relationship that you have with yourselves, that you have with that inner communication, with that inner person, and it comes from within who we are. It comes from within our journey. It comes from within our path. It comes from within our purpose. And I'm sitting here with you guys today, and I work on multiple networks here. I have YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, Twitter, Instagram, podcast, and I'm telling you that when you are going through things, that if you continue to focus, if you continue to put yourself in a place where you believe in you, where you believe in your abilities, where you believe in your mentalities, that you will come out on top, that you will find a way to believe in yourself. And how do we do that? How do we start to understand who we are on the inside? I've always said, when you write things down, write everything down. Write the hard times, the positive times, the negative times. Write everything down and start to seek out a way, or tackle a way to overcome it, tackle a way to manifest it, to utilize what you have inside, and to believe in yourselves, to believe in your abilities, to believe in your mentalities. And when you start to do that, when you start to give yourself that place, when you start to give yourself that ability, you'll start to find a way. And each of us has that inside of who we are. We have challenges that we're seeking out to overcome. Are you doing that for yourselves? And so I have my channel, Motivation, Meditation, Inspiration Yoga. I have it on YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, Twitter, Instagram. And I do meditation, and this guy asks, what am I doing? And I am being myself. I am utilizing the gifts that I have inside, and each of us have gifts, each of us have talents, and it's on that website that's in the link there for the person asking on Periscope, where you can go. If you want to listen to it, I have it on podcast, Apple, and Google, and all the other podcasts. You can also listen to it because I have it linked through Anchor. If you go on Facebook, I have nearly 3,000 members. Motivation, meditation, inspiration, and it's about building that kind of mentality. It's about utilizing the mentality that kept me alive when I thought that I couldn't even move forward. And so here I am talking about meditation. I'm talking about motivation. I'm talking about inspiration. Ask yourselves that question. Is that something that you need in your life? That's what this channel is about. and I've just talked about motivation for I'm going to go ahead and take a picture of that so I can actually go back and look those up as well too. And any platforms that are monetized, I look forward to be a part of, and I utilize them on a way. I also have my YouTube, my Facebook, my Periscope, Twitter, my own personal website, which is a WordPress. So I'm on every platform possible. And even if there's more platforms that are possible, then I will be on them too eventually as well too. I want you guys to realize that I went through a time that I want other people to be able to make it out of. It's not like we don't face off against challenges. It's when we do face off against challenges and we start to overcome our challenges that we start to recognize that they're worth it. And I'm telling you, you guys are worth it. I'm telling that the things that you're going through and the things that you're working on are worth it. But let's go ahead and start talking about how we can get into self-study, okay? How we can truly start to be the student in our lives, all right? A lot of people, they relate, my breath work, they call it meditation, okay? The breath work the stuff that I sit down on a daily basis, they call it meditation, and it really should be called meditation. It should be called breath work, because everything that we do in our day is a part of meditation. From the things that we put in our systems to the places that we go, the way we use our mentalities, the way we use our energy within ourselves, our vibrations, everything is meditation. So all I simply do is breath work. I sit down and study myself. I sit down inside of myself. I sit down and ask my teacher and the student within. I ask this person who has knowledge and focus within, is it worth it? How to utilize it? And so that's what I want to share with you guys today. I want to share some of the ways that I have found to study. I want to share some of the ways that I have found to decompress within. I want to share some of the ways that I've sat down and done meditation. You can watch my meditation videos on on YouTube and on Facebook. I also have this going on the Twitch as well too. I guess I'm building a small following on Twitch. And it's happening. It's happening around and it's happening within. And so when I asked myself, I woke up one day and I said, Marcel, what is it that makes you you? What is it that sets you aside from everybody else? What is it that you can do that sets you aside? And I realized the only thing I can do is be myself. And that is the only thing that you can ever do, is be you. The positive, the negative thoughts that you think, the things that you go through, that's all a part of who you are. Nobody else can be you. And so when do we spend a little bit of time on ourselves to be that kind of student in our lives? When do we spend that kind of time by ourselves to overcome our challenges, to put ourselves in a place where we have those kind of gifts vibrating? And see, that's the type of question that I started to ask myself. And as I sat there and as people started coming in and out of the sauna, and I found myself spending more and more time in there, I started asking myself, how do I do it? How do I achieve it? How do I overcome it? And I sat there and I continued to grind. And I continued to grind until the point where the challenges that I faced off against no longer had a greater part of who I am. That the fears, the emotions, the pains no longer had an ability to hold me back. And I sat there, and people said it was impossible. And I was there sleeping in my van. I was washing my clothes in a 24-hour fitness bathroom, okay, in the showers there. And I was literally, washing them by hand. Every single day I had brand new clothes washed by hand, okay, socks, shoes. This means everything I had was washed. I was meditating. I had shakes in the car. I was delivering food. I was with 2 dogs in the car with me. I was sleeping in the 24-hour fitness parking lot, okay? And here I am inside of the sauna, breaking barriers, breaking challenges, going through meditation, putting myself in a place where my breath work was so strong that people who had a lot more than I did couldn't even keep up with me, okay? And so, are we doing that inside of ourselves? Are we using that person within? Are we using that kind of energy? Are we creating that kind of momentum? You know, I got to the point inside the sauna where I said, I'm not going to leave just because I don't feel like it. I'm going to leave the sauna when I decide I'm done. Guess what? I was in there for 5 hours before even walking out, and I found that I could push even farther. I went 3.5 on and off out of the sauna in addition. Okay? And here I am sleeping in the car, and people can't even handle an hour inside of the sauna. They can't even handle an hour inside of their minds. And here I am sitting there delivering food 12 hours a day, sleeping in my van. You know, I sold cars for 2.5 years. I did telesales for 3.5 years. I did 5 years of Uber driving. You know, and I'm telling you, when we believe in ourselves, when we start to study ourselves, you see that the part inside of who we are is that a lot of people forget that we're a teacher too. We're not just a student of life. We're also teaching ourselves how to be positive. We're teaching ourselves how to overcome. We're teaching ourselves how to be patient, how to observe. You know, one of the highest levels of intellect is observation. Because when you study yourself, you could become best friends with yourself. When you study yourself, you can overcome your challenges. When you study yourself, you could sit back. But you got to become best friends with that self. You got to become best friends with that person inside. And it's inside of that place that we can go, and it's inside of that place that we could find the energy within, that we could start to understand the energy and how it flows inside of ourselves. And see, but if you don't allow yourself to be that student, if you don't allow yourself that place where you have what it takes within you, if you allow other people to tell you that you need to be emotional, that you need to have fears, that you need to have pains, that you can't decompress them, then that's what you find yourself vibrating in. And so how do we vibrate past that point? You know, that's what the structure is taught. It's taught people to that the highest level of being was love. What is it that is love? What is it that you consider love? Is love care? Is it self-being? Is being present within yourself, being present and valuing yourself, valuing the person that you are inside, valuing that person, starting to have that side of self-care, caring about themselves just a little bit. I know a lot of people don't teach this. They don't teach you that when you put yourself in a place of self-care, that you reflect outwards love. They don't want you to reach that place where you believe in yourself, where you won't let other people tell you how to be and to be who you are on the inside. See, because they want you to become these teachers, these you know, English or math or things like that, or mathematics. But what about the skills that you have? What about the talent that you have inside of yourself? You know, how do you start to utilize that part of your being? How do you use that part of your journey? And it's not easy to start to study oneself. It's not easy to start to want to get inwards. I understand that the light inside eventually shines. I understand that, you know, it doesn't happen the day you want it to. It happens in its own time. It happens in its own place. It happens when you're able to just put yourself in a little bit of the challenges. And, you know, it's when we become that kind of teacher with that light inside that we break down the energy fields themselves. And that's when we start breaking barriers, you know. Like, what is it that makes a person's heart hurt? Or what is it that makes a person's, you know, depth perception be off, or their nervous system, or their, you know, I've seen people that sat down and they were shaking, and they were sitting next to me and they were asking how to do meditation, and by the end of the meditation they were actually not shaking anymore. You know, that's what I'm talking about. I want that kind of stabilization. I want that kind of mentality within. I want that type of vibration outwards. I want you to believe in yourself. I want you to believe in your ability and in your mentality, and that you can be the best student and the best teacher within who you are, that you can use the gifts and the talents that you have. So, how do we apply it? How do we apply that reflection that's meditation? How do we apply that in a way which we center ourselves? We have to recognize that being in this thing, this shell that we are in, this person, this place, this energy is amazing. It's a mass. You're a mass in this universe. You leave ripples behind if you like it or not. What type of ripples are you leaving? Are you using your focus? Are you using your knowledge? Are you using your purpose? Are you using that part of who you are where you start to believe in yourselves and your abilities? And it's a blessing that we can do that. It's a blessing that we can go through those kind of struggles and that they can become worth it, and that we can be who we are on the inside. And I want to utilize discipline to the point where other people see it as a reflection of inspiration. I want, with the message that I send out, I want you to see it for yourselves. I want you to see it in your life. I want you to try to apply it, to try to become it, to try to overcome those kind of challenges. And it's on a daily that we do it. It's on a daily that we're seeking it out. And I can tell you that when you're becoming disciplined, you're going to have to use your focus. You're going to have to use your knowledge. And you're going to have to use that person that you are on the inside. And it's not going to always be exactly perfect. But if you can sit down for a minute, if you can hear this message, if you can sit down inside of yourself and you can use your focus and your knowledge to center you, to bring you close, to even just have a place where you can go inside of who you are, then you will overcome your challenges. And you will get to a place where you have what it takes. You will get to a place where you have the growth within you, where you are who you are on the inside. And sometimes it might be shaky. Sometimes you might have storms going on inside. You might have storms going on the outside. But what really matters, what really matters is your mentality. What really matters is your ability, is your knowledge, your focus, your discipline. That's what really matters. And so how are we using that? How are we using that part of who we are? How are we using that part of what it takes? How are we using that part of our beings? And how are we using that part of our journeys? See, each of us have a journey. Each of us have a path. Each of us have a purpose. Are we on it? Are we truly on our path? Are we truly on our journey? Are we sitting down inside of who we are and finding that it's worth it? Are we finding that we can do what it takes, that we can overcome the challenges, that we can get it to the point where we have what it takes from within ourselves? And it is there for you. It's a wonderful thing that we have it. It's there within you. It's there asking you the question, is this what you want? Is this what you want to achieve? Is this who you want to become? And it comes from within. It comes from a place where we believe in ourselves. Have you started to believe in your abilities to that point? Have you started to believe in your abilities to where you overcome your challenges and you start to care for yourself and you start to become disciplined where it radiates outwards? And I'm talking to that person that might feel like it's not possible. I'm talking to that person who says, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can achieve this. I don't know how to do it. I'm talking to you. I'm talking about your discipline. I'm talking about your vibration. I'm talking about your ability within who you are. And we can do that. We can become that. We can light up this world in a way that other people think are impossible. Because when we truly do sit down inside of who we are, when we start to believe in ourselves, we're going to have people that are going to not be on our side too. That's the amazing thing, is when you are moving forward, when you're cruising at a high speed, when the wind starts flowing in your direction, you're going to still have positive and negative forces. But you got to stay positive. You got to stay in a place of discipline. You got to uplift other people. You got to remember that your skills, your talents, your being is worth it. And so, are we doing it? Are we truly doing that? You know, it is inside of who we are that those challenges show up. You know, it's inside of the person who is starting the position. You know, they go into the position and they got people that are kicking their butts. They got people that are saying, "Hey, I can do this better than you." You know, when if you've ever been an underdog or you've ever gone into a position, then you will be asked that question. You will be asked, can you get up? You know, I remember when I was selling cars, I was working with Chrysler. You know, there were months where I would be at the bottom of the list for the first half of the month. And by the end of the month, I was in first or second place. And the reason why was because I never tried to compare myself to anybody else. When do you be you? When do you truly be who you are on the inside? When do you use your gifts, your talents, your skills? When do you start to recognize that that person is worth it? And that's what this message is about today. It's about uplifting you to believe in yourselves. It's about uplifting you to believe in your abilities. It's about uplifting you to the point where you can see your reflection, because others will see it. Others will identify with how you focus on yourself, what you focus into, what your mentality is on, and how your ability within you happens. And it's inside of that person that you are inside. It's inside of that person that you want to become. It's inside of that person that light that you have shines so bright. Okay, it shines so bright, but a lot of us stop ourselves. How do we enable that part to shine? How do we enable that part to move forward and to grow and to manifest and to want to become and to want to light up and to want to open up again and to want to believe it's worth it? You know, how do we find that part of ourselves? How do we find that part of our ability? How do we find that part of our mentality? And you know, it's inside of who we are that we overcome challenge. It's inside of who we are that we inspire other people. What is it that you're disciplined at? What is it that you're disciplined on? What is it that you want to overcome? What is it that you want to dream? What is it that you want your goals to achieve? You know, do you want to achieve a certain place or a certain part of yourself, or what is it that you want to achieve? Because this isn't it for somebody else. You know, I want to become one of the number one motivational speakers in the world. I want people to know me for my meditation. I want them to know me for the ability inside of who I am, that I was able to continue, that no matter if I was inside a car doing videos, sleeping inside of a car, or inside a multi-million-dollar mansion, that it was the same, that I'm always going to be the same person. I'm always going to wear those old shoes. I'm always going to be that person who's worthy to wear the shoes that they have on their feet. I want you to recognize that for yourselves. I want you to recognize that within who you are and that you're worth it. So how? How do you start to? How do you find that part of you? How do you find a way back up through discipline? When you see other people that are inspiring you, recognize the skills that they're using. Recognize the abilities that they have, the things that they work on, the things that they go through, the things that they manifest around and within. And it takes that place, it takes that ability inside of who they are. It takes that ability inside of their mentality, inside of their ability to overcome challenge. And each of us can overcome those kinds of challenges. And are you able to do that, or are you stopping yourself from that place? You know what I mean? And so we can get there, but we got to inspire each other. We got to uplift each other. We got to see that when we are doing that, when we are becoming that, when we are manifesting that, that what's truly going on is that we are actually growing. And, as we uplift other people, as we get to that place where other people see you for you, and they start to see you for your beauty, they start to see you for your abilities, they start to see you for your mentality, they will start to become uplifted too. And it's inside that we can do it. It's inside that we can become it. It's inside that when you're achieving and you're manifesting, that you light up. And it is inside that you will face challenge. You are not always going to make it the way that other people will, but if you can continue, if you will put yourself in a place where you believe in who you are, if you will put yourself in a place where you utilize your being, if you will put yourself in a place where you utilize your purpose, if you utilize your journey, if you utilize your vibration, then other people will become uplifted by you. Is that what you want? Do you want to be someone in this world where the universe yields, where it truly starts sending yields your way? It starts sending, things your way that bring you closer to you, that bring you closer to the person that you are inside. Are you able to do that? Are you able to find that within yourself? Are you able to find that within your ability? Are you able to find that within your mentality? And each of us have that kind of a thing going on inside of who we are. We have that kind of a thing going on inside of our path, inside of our journey. And so, how do we do it? How do we use it? How do we overcome it? It's amazing that you face challenges, my friends. Are you disciplined enough to overcome those challenges? Are you disciplined enough to utilize those challenges? Are you disciplined enough to be who you are on the inside? To be who you are to the point where other people start to believe in you, where they start to believe that you have what it takes. And that's what I'm telling you. You do. You have what it takes inside of you. You have what it takes inside of your being. You have what it takes inside of your focus, inside of your discipline. You have what it takes when other people would just give up. I sit down on a daily and I grind. I sit down here in front of you guys and I continue to talk about focus, knowledge, and discipline on a daily basis. And it's inside of who you are that it matters the most. It's inside of who you are that this light can shine. It's inside of who you are that you can manifest, that your being can vibrate. And it's on a daily that we seek out that place to become a reflection of inspiration. So a lot of times we're seeking for something elsewhere. When do we seek out what's going on inside? I already have multiple platforms. So Periscope is getting ready to go down. Yes, this is going to be the last day of Periscope. But there's YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, Twitter. Twitter is going to be utilizing it. And these different networks are all here, and there's always going to be more networks out there, and there's going to be different platforms that are going to start to pop up to replace things like Periscope. But I want you all to know that when you believe in yourself, when you truly believe in your ability, that not only you are about it, when you become more than your journey, when you become enough to want to help out other people, to want to uplift other people, to want to bring people closer to themselves, to bring them closer to their being, when you're that place inside of who you are, when you're that place inside of your purpose, when you're that place inside of your journey, when you're going through things and you're disciplined, and they don't have a place to shake you any longer. That is a world that I want and to inspire you to live in. And I know this is my last Periscope, and I really have enjoyed being on Periscope. I really have been enjoying being a part of this Periscope community, and you know, and I know that YouTube and Facebook and podcasts are where it is, and we got the Instagram going on here, and it's amazing how much support I've had from that platform, Periscope. The people that have called in for the energy readings, for the mentality, for the ability inside of who they are, and it's inside of who we are that we will overcome, and it's inside of who we are that we have what it takes. And I recognize these types of things are what we're seeking out. It's these types of things that we are trying to overcome on a daily basis. And I'm sitting here in front of you guys today. I'm sitting here on another day, on another grind, and I'll be doing this every day, and I will be continuing to do this no matter how much I have or how little I have, because it's what I do. I do this. I talk about motivation. I talk about meditation. I talk about inspiration. And an actor was once asked a question. He was asked, "What would you do if your profession was not acting?" And he said that I would continue to act even if I was gardening. Even if I was a gardener, I would be acting as I was gardening. And if there wouldn't be I would find a way, even if there wasn't a way. And so I want you all to do that. I want you all to find a way to become inspired, find a way to be driven, find a way to overcome, find a way to believe in yourselves, to believe in your abilities, to believe that you have what it takes within you. And it is inside of who we are that we light up. Yeah, it's inside of who we are that we overcome. It's inside of who we are that we face off against these types of things. And it's inside of who we are that we overcome those kind of challenges. Wow, I just hit my 3,000th person on Facebook. So it's inside of who we are that we study other people. Anybody who inspires you has gone through their own challenges too. If they can do it, you can too. If they can become it, you can too. If they can manifest it, you can too. And so, when we start to become those kind of blessings, when we start to leave other people with blessings, when we start to leave other people with abilities, we start to leave other people with manifestations, when we start to leave other people with a part of who they are on the inside, then we overcome those things that we're facing off against. And it's when we start to do that, it's when we start to give ourselves that place, when we start to give ourselves that kind of ability, when we start to focus to that point where we leave ripples for other people, that we uplift other people. And we can bring up other people together. We can bring other people closer to themselves, closer to their abilities, closer to their mentalities. But we've got to get down with it. We got to get down with ourselves. We got to get down with our challenges and our mentalities and embrace who we are on the inside. I'm grateful to have been a part of this Periscope community, and I still have my Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitter, the Twitter account, and I want you to all believe in who you are. You're worth it, my friends. Your abilities are worth it. Your mentalities are worth it. Your beings are worth it. Uplift other people along your journey. Uplift other people along your path. Uplift other people to the point where you leave ripples greater than you are, and you will see the